For those of you that have just joined us, well, maybe some of you have just tuned in for the first time this year. It is 2018 and everybody's ready to go for action. I think everybody's dying to see the fixtures. That's one of the big things that people are craving for. But before we get on with all of that, big thanks to our official sponsors, of course, Hisense, that's on board, our official technical partner. Score energy drinks, as you know, Score's on board with West Bromwich Club Rugby and of course with many of the clubs out there. They sponsored the West Bromwich Club Rugby Sevens for the last few years, so that's been fantastic to have Score, and you can win yourself a case of Score a little bit later. And of course, Colour Tone on board with Cape Rugby TV, and Dulux Maitland at number 30 Kuberg Road. Went down there this week to get myself some paint for the studio. We're going to show you what that looks like over the next couple of days. JP Nordia doing painting himself. Let me introduce you to our panel this evening. Lyndon Julius, no stranger to Cape Rugby TV. Welcome.
Good evening, JP. Well, thanks for having me, and it's always good to be on the show on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's our privilege to have you here. And Morgan Newman, freshly shaved or groomed, looking very sexy.
Feeling very sharp, Japes. No, good to be here. Thanks. Yeah, I think it's my first one for the year. I think so.
It is your first one.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to
all that.
And all that. I don't know at what point we stop saying Merry Christmas.
I think when the first salary paycheck drops, I think that's when you stop saying it. I think that I don't know that it's over. You know, 2018 has hit. I think that's when you stop it. So I think that's.
But they say that January is like the bad month.
It's like 4 months in one.
What do they say? January is the. What did they say? January is the longest year of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, it's all action. I mean, it's all action stations. I know the fixtures haven't started yet, but that doesn't stop the clubs.
People are asking for those fixtures, and I guess some clubs that are wanting to get the planning going, but I mean, it doesn't stop most clubs. I know of a few, at least 98% of them that have got their friendlies ready. Amadeus, the sevens, there's sevens happening this weekend, there's 10s happening, so I mean, it's busy. So people aren't waiting for it, but I know there are a few clubs that are pulling their hairs out waiting for those fixtures. I think it's more just to see who's playing where, at which home ground, and who's going to set up what, I think that's the only reason why they want it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a lot of the clubs didn't really even wait. I mean, Morgs, we haven't had a chance to speak to you in the last few weeks, but you'll know a lot of the clubs didn't even wait more than a week or two after the sevens last year, and already pre-season I mean, there's no such thing as off-season anymore, straight into pre-season.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I was saying, yes, it becomes a 12-month, it's really a 12-month calendar at the moment,
Yeah.
Straight out of the sevens, Oaks want to keep busy, they want to keep going, You don't want to lose the momentum that you built up, in 2017. So it's a bit of a catch-22, Do you want the Oaks stale towards the end of the year? Do you keep them going?
But the club, I mean, it's not all about rugby. I mean, if I look at Hammies, what you guys you did a little bit of an overseas trip together, some touring team stuff. Then you took a bit of a break, and then you got a bit of team building going. It wasn't all physical.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important that, during the so-called break that there is, it's important to keep the guys together, but away from rugby. I think it's sometimes nice, even if it isn't, maybe it's sevens. They go and play some sevens on the beach, or go and train on the beach, go for a run up the mountain. But it's important to keep the guys together, and to keep that sort of fierce culture bond of your club going.
And Lyndon, I can go to you on that.
I think it's very
about
important.
The beach,
Yeah.
Strand. I mean, Strand has been all I've been seeing is pictures of clubs.
I think it's very important, like Morgan is saying, also like to keep your players interested and keep them going. Give them a bit of a different environment, because for the next 6 or 7 months they're going to be playing on grass. I don't want to call it green grass because our clubs are struggling with water. Yeah. So I think the sand and the beach is a bit of a nice sort of different environment for them. Running up the mountain, got tires flipping, the poles. The guys are doing functional and conditional training. It's always good to see the clubs improvising.
Well, I've just got to say that now that you mention it, Lyndon, and I'm just going to my phone here, and I'm hoping that we're going to get a couple of responses here from the clubs. We did post on the Cape Rugby TV page. Please tell us your club facility water-saving tips. Let's help all clubs through the water crisis. And make no mistake, folks, we're way past water saving now. It is now a water crisis. In about 100 days' time, you are basically going to have a couple of litres of water to drink. There's going to be no shaving. There's going to be no showers. You're hardly going to be able to go to the toilet. Life as you know it is going to change in a heartbeat. So we're going to have to really, really talk and share information. And of course, we don't want the world of club rugby to come to an end. So we've got to be able to play rugby, but come up with plans on how to play rugby. Anyway, as we mentioned earlier on, a lot of the clubs are out there. They're already busy with pre-season training, and we're catching up with as many of the clubs as possible. We've got like 3 clubs in a week we're checking out. And of course, this week we're checking out Kraaifontein, Hands and Arts, and Solarians. And guys, remind me to talk about Strand United. I've got to talk about Strand United. I'm going to give them a big thumbs up tonight. Let's first check out Kraaifontein, where we're over a practice session. Boys are in action, having a lot of fun. This is their training session.
Ja, dis lekker. Ons het Dinsdag 'n klompie manne gehad. Vanaand is hulle meer. Soos amper 50. En ons dink vir hierdie vroeë tyd van die jaar is dit eintlik goed. Want die manne is maar almal nog nie aan die by nie en nog nie hier nie en terug van vakansie af. Maar ja, nee, ons is baie gelukkig. Ons werk hard. Ons het die vorige jaar 2016 swak gedoen. Verlede jaar het ons maar average. Ons het 7de geëindig. Ons wil regtig hierdie jaar 'n baie beter performance en 'n beter jaar hê. So ons het baie goed in die pipeline wat die manne moet doen dat ons kan ordentlik 'n goeie jaar hê. Man is nou om die ouens se koppe reg te kry en dan conditioning en obviously daar's baie ouens wat in die gym en goed werk en as hy op die veld kom dan sukkel hulle maar. Hulle dink hulle kan bietjie ysters pomp en so jy moet hard werk op die body conditioning en fisiese goed om hulle reg te kry en fiksheid. Mense moet die hele tyd daaraan werk om die ouens gelukkig te hou. Jy moet hulle hard werk, maar ek sê altyd 'n ou wat fiks is en wat hard werk en wat georganiseerde afrigting kry, is gelukkig en dan voel hulle om terug te kom. Maar ja, dit is maar 'n stryd tussen al die clubs om die ouens gelukkig te hou en by jou te hou. Maar die goal, definitief ons wil 'n groot impak op die league maak. Ek wil definitief onder die eerste 2 eindig. Dit is ons doelwitte. En ons glo en ons wil regtig dit bereik.
All right, Manny de Paver there, of course, from Kraaifontein. He says hy moet die manne se koppe nou reg kry. Morgs, what does that mean?
Yeah, James, it's I think it means exactly what he's saying. You got to get it right, you know. I think it's holiday mode, you know, Oaks rock up there when they want to, and I think it's the same problem exists at all the clubs, you know. Guys, it's that, you know, Jono from Fallsburg always calls it the silly season. And it's a simple thing of, you know, guys are coming and going. It's a case of, you know, am I going to play at this club? Am I going to come check it out for 2 weeks and then go somewhere else when I still have the opportunity to? So you got to get the guys in their heads in the game. You got to make sure that the Oaks are focused, that they're at training, you know, whatever it is, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And when they're there, they're actually putting in the work. I see Kraaifontein clearly doing a lot of skill work at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, it's you don't believe it, but you don't hold the ball for 2 or 3 months. You come back, you feel like you haven't never held the thing, you know. It just takes that week to just get back into it again. So it's nice to see.
Kind of get the hands-eye coordination back in that polished feel that you're actually like in touch with the ball.
Yeah,
exactly.
Gone are the days where you like run around the field, you do physical training, and the ball only comes out after week 5, or like they say, the old coaches usually do. What they usually done is they put the balls away and then dust the balls off like 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the first match. But now it's changed. Now you have where they physically touch the ball, like Morgan says. This is Morgan's been playing in the Super League A now for a very long time, and I mean, it shows the intensity of a Super League A fixture. But I mean, if you go down to the Northern League fixtures, if you go guys the regional fixtures, these guys are doing the same thing now. I mean, we were at Brackenfell a few weeks back, and you could see the guys are doing functional training, but at the end of the training there was balls involved, and guys were tackling, and guys were running into shields. So obviously the guys have moved on from running around the field, getting yourself fit, without rugby in mind, if that makes sense.
But James,
know?
also,
Well, I don't know. When I play golf, I cannot play
You
golf
play
for
golf.
5 years.
You still play golf.
And I can still come back after not playing for 5 years. I
wanna
can
hear where
still
this is
play
going.
as badly as when I played before.
Okay, I was just about to say. But just coming back to that
You
thing,
really were.
I was like, is he going to say he's good at golf? I'm definitely not going to allow that to happen. But coming back to James, I mean, we talk about this, you know, in the middle of the year, we always talk about it. Individual brilliance is something that we can't coach. So what can we do? We can give the players the skills to go out there and express themselves within a certain structure. But individual brilliance is where we're going to see the cream of the crop of Super League A, B, C, the rest of the teams all coming to the fore. So we got to just go out there, practice skills, allow players to make a 20-meter pass, solid 20-meter pass, to give a player the ball in space. Once he gets the ball in space, that's where we see individual brilliance. And that you can't coach.
I can't think of any single athlete in the history of the world that was a natural, but also managed to stay at the top of his game without putting in hours and hours and hours and hours, years of work and repetition again and again.
Yeah, you've got to do that.
You know, look at a guy like Ernie Els or somebody like that. Yes, he's a good putter, but he will practice his putting 4 hours a day.
But I mean, he will say
more.
he will say that there's still those 2 4-feet putts that still get you nervous. I mean, you still get the guys who lines up that kick to win the match, to draw the match. You know, he still gets very nervous. You know, and there's a big crowd behind you. It's at a away field. You've got to win this match, and that's where it comes in. Like, can you remember those 4 or 5 hours extra in the week that you've put in over the last 4 months, and that's when it really pays off.
Yeah. Folks, we are going to take a little ad break in a second or so, and then we're going to catch up with some of the players from Kraaifontein. Always nice to check to the guys. Jaco van der Berg, we speak to the captain there, Michael de Boer. Yeah, very important that this year we get more in touch with the players, more in touch with the coaches and captains. We want to give them as much airtime as possible. A little bit later in the show, you can, of course, go down to our Cape Rugby TV mobile app, and if you have entered tomorrow there'll be a new one up. But they entered the Spot the Ball competition, and some lucky winner tonight is going to walk away with this H7 Pure Shot High Sense mobile phone. All right, it's going to come to you, whoever it is, managed to spot that ball. Very tricky competition. And then a little bit later in the show, I'm going to give you a chance to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. Take an ad break. When we come back from the break, Jaco van der Berg and the captain of Kraaifontein, Michael de Boer. Right, welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Remember, those competitions coming up a little bit later. The Cape Rugby TV mobile app is, of course, where you go to spot the ball, and then you're going to put yourself in the mix to win the High Sense Pure Shot mobile phone. It's got 16 gigs of RAM, 2 gigabytes of RAM, dual SIM slots, and, of course, multi-touch and Android, and massive battery power. So, fantastic mobile phone. That up for grabs. And then, of course, Score energy drinks. All right, Score. I love this one. This is the apple-flavored energy drink. Gets me through my training. Need something to get me through my training. And that's up for grabs a little bit later. All you need to do is SMS the word SCORE, but we'll tell you more about that. You can see it on my left-hand side. Right here. Let's catch up now with Jaco van der Berg from Kraaifontein.
Die numbers lyk ook goed. So ons is baie bly. Ons is 'n hele paar ouens meer as Dinsdag. Ek dink soos 15 tot 20 ouens al meer. So ja, ons is reg vir die season. Ja, natuurlik. Kyk, dis maar altyd bietjie anders met die youngsters, want ons kyk bietjie af op hulle, maar dis ook goed vir die stelsel en goed. En soos ons almal is 'n unit saam, aan die 20s, die 4des almal oefen saam. Dis 'n hele setup, en tot die eerste, tweede friendly games, dan split ons eers. Ja, nee, natuurlik. Kyk, jy wil maar sterk wees en goed vir beserings, om beserings te voorkom en goed. So jy moet maar jou alles gee, jy moet gekondisioneerd wees. Ek meen vandag se ouens is die man is groot en sterk. So jy wil maar op jou beste, fikste, sterkste wees. So ja. Ag kyk, ons moet maar net stiek toe ons grids doen wat ons doen. Die ouens moet net commit en oefeninge toe kom. En soos ek sê, die numbers moet net by die veld uitkom, en ouens moet maar net hard oefen en doen wat van hulle verwag word.
Welcome back, everybody. Jaco van der Berg is, of course, a player there at Kraaifontein. From a player's perspective, Lyndon, getting back into... You want me to go to Morgan?
Morgan is still a player. Morgan's like Manny. Morgan's like Manny. Morgan's like Manny. Like the one that retires, like Morgan's final year. He doesn't retire. It's like John Lee Claassen. They want to retire. They don't retire.
Club rugby players don't retire. They just regroup.
Retire. They just keep going. They just keep going. I think they should have a legend.
Over 35 league.
Oh, Hall of Famers over 35 leagues. Over 35 kilograms. Over 35 age.
Isn't that what you would call the old crocs?
I think they're over 40, either for 40 over 50. There is a league that where the old Crocs play. I think it's over 40 or something.
Way away from over 40. 35, I've still got 3 years to go.
All right, but let's leave it at that. Let's catch up now with the captain of Kraaifontein, Michael de Boer.
Ja, nee, het was een lang vakantie geweest. Dus lekker om weer samen met die boys op die veld te wees. Om een beetje die conditioning aan die gang te krijgen. Ja. Ja, dat is baie belangrijk. Ons het nou lekker begin, dus nou dag 2, maar ons bring lekker technische goedjes ook in. Die belangrikheid van die conditioning. Als een man hier in juli, augustus komt, dan skop het eindelijk in. Als die benen begin lam raak, dan die al die pre-season oefeningen. Definitief. Zoals ik zei, die fixed is belangrijk. Het was misschien niet verleden jaar aan nie. En 1 of 2 technische goedjes. Games wat hij moet winnen, moet hij winnen. Als hij wil boven op een dag. So ik denk dat is iets waar we gaan, waarop we gaan hard werken. Vat die punten waar we kan en kom boven op die liga uit. Ja, nee, definitief. Het is een baie lekker gevoel om een man hier te zien. We hebben de 4de span aan die gang gekregen. Hulle bring die gees deur, hulle bring hulle vriende deur. Ek wil miskien 'n geleentheid vat almal in Kraaifontein manne as hulle wil kom speel. Hulle is meer as welkom om deur te kom, bietjie te kom jolly by die kraaie.
Michael de Boer, of course, the captain at Kraaifontein. He's looking forward to the season. Lyndon, Kraaifontein, any idea how they're going to do this year?
Yeah, it's like the coach was saying, you know, that they definitely had like a bit of a hot cold season last year. Ending 7th, mid-table. I think a couple of weeks back we predicted that they were going to be one of the teams that are going to do pretty good in Super C. I definitely don't think that they will get up to Super B, but it looks like, you know, at this point in the season, a couple of years back, you would only see 30, maybe 35 players on the field, but you're seeing 50, 45, 60 players at the field, and I mean that's good. It's not even February yet, and we are seeing fields are full. I'm sure coaches are happy to see that that their fields are packed, sort of waiting for that first league game, and then when the first friendly game when it hits, then I mean you've got sort of an idea exactly which players have been there for the last 6 to 8 weeks, kind of thing.
But you've got obviously like 3 kinds of teams mentally. If you think about it, you've got the teams that were the winners in the league, and they're obviously thinking, well, hang on, we've got to try and stay the winners. Then you've got teams who maybe were relegated or promoted at the bottom of the league, and they're thinking, guys, we just want to climb the league. Then you've got these guys that are kind of middle of the ground, and they're thinking, how are we going to get this right? What is going through the guys' minds at the moment in terms of, like, how do you, you know, sort of say to yourself, look, this is a team that's in the middle. If you look at Kraaifontein, and you said it by his own admission there, Kraaifontein is kind of stuck in a little bit of a rut. They're trying to break that rut. But they're not thinking along the lines of, we were the champions last year, we must stay the champions. Yeah. But they're also not thinking, we were bottom of the log last year.
So
kind of like it's a middle ground.
I think it's very important for teams at this stage of the year to identify and be, and be honest with themselves and go, right, where are we and where do we see ourselves ending? And then from there, working and going, right, obviously that's why teams want the fixtures, is to go identify fixtures and go, right, we want to hit the ground running. But if we've got whoever it is, maybe top of the log, strong side up front, then let's use them as another pre-season warm-up game, and make sure that we pick up 4 wins throughout the year, and we identify the 4 wins, and we make sure that our strongest squads are available through those years. Because let's be honest, too often we see teams go up and they immediately come down. And I think where Kraaifontein are now, they had a bad year in 2016. They're now mid-table 2017. In 2018, if they can stay mid-table, guaranteed come 2019, they're going to be contenders.
Well, I mean, the graph is going up.
Because the graph's going up, but they're also consolidating a nice squad of players who all sing from the same hymn sheet, all believe in the coach. He's got a plan for them. And 2019 is actually where they want to start contending. 2018 becomes a very important year in terms of building a solid squad of players who are not going to retire next year or going to go look for a greener pasture somewhere else. We're going to stay inside the Kraaifontein system and actually look to compete in 2019.
But I think like Brackenfell and Moulton have both shown us, and also St. Vineyards, you come up from the bottom, but there's also a way in which you can not just survive in the top league, but also work towards. I remember Ishmael Dolly, the head coach at Moulton, said a couple of years back, they're not ready for Super League A. Now, for a coach to say that, it boggles your mind, like how can a coach say that? But then you see now what he actually was working towards, and I think many coaches are catching on to that now, whereas, Brackenfell have got there, and they sort of just mid-table, sort of just below, the top 6 guys, the top Super League A clubs. I think Moulton is going to break into that fold as well for next year. And now with the new structure of the top 6, where number 6 can still win the league, I think that is a different, very good motivation for a club like Brackenfell and Milnerton, and possibly even SK Homers, who also have a new threshold.
Just pause there for a second and just explain that to the viewers.
Yeah.
When you say a club that's number 6 on the league in the log can still win the league, what does that mean?
So they've done away with where previously, where at the end of the regular league, you've got a number 1 and number 2. So number 1 will win the league, and then where you have the President's Cup. Then after that, now the President's Cup and the league form part of the.
So President's Cup results will now be the winners.
Yeah,
of this.
basically. So number 6 will then qualify for the President's Cup. Number 1 and 2 is like the Super Rugby system was a couple of years back. Number 1 and number 2 automatically qualify for the semi-finals, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 play out for a place in the semi-finals. So if 6 win,
So basically,
they
after-
qualify.
6 plays 3, 6 plays 3, 4 plays 5.
But basically, the system is that at the end of all the round robin, the top 6 teams are the ones that will still compete through to the quarters and the semis and so forth.
Yes.
It also adds a bit more credibility and a bit more vigor to the President's Cup.
Essentially, what we're saying here is that you want to make sure that you're in the top 6 come the end of the league.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't want to be in 7. You want to be in 6.
Because 7 is like that near miss. You just there.
You're out the picture.
You're out the picture competing, so that you got to compete next in the same league. Also, then you got to have contend with 2 or 3 teams coming down from the top and 2 or 3 teams coming up from the bottom, which is 6 new teams.
I want to throw this question at you. One of the we see 50 players there on the park at the moment. Of course, that we're in a situation that we don't know if all 50 are going to stay at that club. We're still in the registration phase. Some players are going to move around a little bit, but 50 is a good start. How important is it going to be for the coaches going through these leagues, this league structure? As we just explained, you're going to play 14 games in a league round, and then of course you're going to get into the semis and the quarters and the playoffs and so forth. How important is it going to be for these coaches that are thinking strategically to be thinking about their second team, their third team?
Well, it's funny that you asked me this question, because that's exactly what my next comment was. It was a case of, it's no longer a win at all cost, win every game, win the league. Because you also got to think, 1 plays 3 and 2 plays 4 when it comes to semi-final time. So if I see, if coaches are clever this year, it will be a massive squad effort, number 1. I think your first and your second side will be very much, players that have played second team will be playing a hell of a lot more games in the first side this year because of squad rotation and wanting to keep a nice core group of players fit, number 1, and resting very big players for, call it the Hamilton's False Bay Derby is no longer as important as it was in the past, because when it was league fixture and that's it, it became, if we beat False Bay here, we one up on them going forward. Now it's like, we still get them, we'll get them again. And you don't want to end, if potentially Stellenbosch finish top and False Bay finish second, you've got to think to yourself, where are we? If we're third, we're playing number 6. 1 and 6 play, you win that game, you're still playing Marty's in the semi-final.
You can't just think with the ego.
Yeah, it's no longer, it's very important for teams
Testosterone has to leave the room.
Correct. It's no longer a win at all costs. And we all know.
But you're not going to win any games.
Kettle of fish.
You're going to really struggle through the season if you don't have depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
The clubs at the moment, you've got to recruit and you've got to make sure that your second team, your third team are really performing.
But it's important that you create the culture also at your club where a player, not only because of, if you start paying a player, not many clubs outside of the Super League A, even in the Super League A, is able to pay a player per match. But you create the culture in the club.
I don't want to talk about paying players.
Yeah, that's
I don't talk about paying players.
So there's a culture in the club that you need to create to keep your players and retain your players for the next year or
there we go.
throughout the season.
Yeah.
And that culture you create as well, and that adds to your depth. I mean, the moment you have that culture, your under 20 guys are saying, hey, but look, this is a club I want to be at. And in 3 years' time, that is your first team squad. And I mean, that is exactly what
It's fantastic that you say that, because I was in Greenpoint the other day, and I popped in at Limnos Bakery and I went to go buy myself a nice pepper steak pie. Those are my favorite pies, by the way. And they make great pies. And as I was walking out, the guy on the telephone, he turned around, and I can't remember his name, it's a Greek name. I never get his name right. He's coaching the Durban Thirds. And all of a sudden he told me about his moving from CPUT, he's coming into Durban, he's been there I think in his second year now. And his plan is about creating culture, tradition, making sure the boys love playing, and he understands that they're there to back the second team and the first team. And I think, watch out for the Durban Third side. I think that's the kind of... But guys, we're going to have to leave it at that just for a second or so. We can come back to things. Let's catch up now with Silurians. Silurians were, of course, on the park training. They've had a bit of a rough season, but we'll find out more about their progress in the next couple of interviews. But training time it is.
Everything changes.
Life.
Ja, ons is besig om die gemeenskap weer 'n bietjie reg te ruk en ons gebruik rugby om almal saam te snoer, om die dorp te support, ouetjies van die straat af te hou en die rugby weer die kern van die dorp te maak. Ons het verlede jaar net die 'n bietjie riglyne en 'n bietjie struktuur gebring. Ons het geweet dit gaan nie 'n goeie jaar wees nie, want daar was 'n hele herbouproses van bestuur van die kultuur wat ons in die klub wil instil in die spelers. En die jaar gaan ons dit 'n bietjie verder vat as dit. Ons vat 'n bietjie meer die skills vlak werk met spelers en persoonlike individue identifiseer en of hulle 'n sterk figuur in die klub begin bou en pilare in die klub begin bou. Dis ons visie vir die jaar. En ek dink ons sal die jaar 'n bietjie meer competitive wees. Ons 'n bietjie harder gewerk aan ons systems, ons spelstyl wat ons wil doen. En as ons dit kombineer met ons strukture en wat ons in plek gesit het laas jaar, dink ek dat die jaar sal redelik goed gaan. Nee, die geskiedenis hier by Silurians en rugby is redelik gevestig oor die jare. As jy vat klubs soos Pineal, dis Silurians is 'n ou sendingsdorp. So daar's hoe hulle die Engelsman sê dis rich culture. So kultuur is definitief een van ons key woorde wat ons gebruik tussen die spelers en tussen die jong manne. En om daai samehorigheid en daai visie van een dorp, een span te establish.
Welcome back, everybody. Jermaine Brunke is there, no stranger, of course, to the world of Western Province Rugby. Morgs, I mean, both of you guys, you would know him quite well. Rich experience. He's talking there about culture and tradition. Second year now at Silurians. Lennon, you're quite close to the Helderberg region. Looks like there's a bit of a breath of fresh air running at Silurians at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and all credit to Jermaine, the chairperson, Delane Fortuin, and her exco, and the management, and everyone at Silurians, because they went through a very difficult time, challenging time last year, Every club goes through a difficult, challenging time, especially when new leadership takes over. It was like a plaster being ripped off a sore. The sore didn't heal there very well, and they're busy healing it now. It's busy getting sort of getting fresh, like you said, fresh breath. Jermaine is doing very well. He's a fighter. So I mean, he's been at Marty's for a few years when Marty's were coached by Sean Rue. Jermaine played provincial rugby as well, so he knows club rugby. He played at Tigerberg also when Tigerberg won the Grand Challenge back in '97. So I mean, Jermaine definitely knows club rugby.
They've got the right people. They've got the right systems in place
Yeah.
now. There's a fresh breath of thinking.
Yeah, and he creates a culture.
A couple of interesting lessons to be learned there. You know, the last 5 or 6 years. But yeah, Solarians, if you're watching, and I'm sure a lot of the guys are watching from Solarians, you know, you've got our full backing to get yourself back on track. And we're very excited to see just how much chaos is coming out of Solarian. So that's really great. So Solarian, I think St. George's, be careful. There's going to be a big derby coming your way. But we managed to also catch up with the captain of Solarians, Eugene Magenji.
Het lijkt goed, ja. Die begint in comparison to last year. Ik denk die guys is lust voor dit jaar. So ons kyk maar voluit uit na die jaar. Ja, verseker. Ik denk ons probeer die keer ons fondasie reg kry. Ons doen dinge van die grond af reg. Ik denk sy sal sien self. Ons het baie youngsters waarmee ons werk die jaar. Paar ou manne, maar ons werk om as ons weer bo kom dan ons reg is. Fondasie is reg gelê. Alles is in plek om aan bo te bly. Ja, het is moeilijk, ja, maar ik denk ons het besluit om te werken op values. Waardes, wat ons proberen stolen in die jongmannen. Ons allemaal weet nog wat gebeurt, so ons denk dat is de fondatie waar ons wil bouwen. Als ik aan de tijd krijg die man uit, dan denk ik dat is wat hij zal houden. Om constant te wees op die lok, in die league, als een club, als een gemeenschap. Ik denk ons is terug aan zo, wat ons speelt voor de gemeenschap. En ons wil het zo houden, ons wil die mannen, ons wil het indrukken. Hulle moeten het verstaan, dat is waar dat gaan bij ons. Want op het einde van die dag proberen we maar net die jongens van die verkeerde plek af houden. Dat is een van de manieren wat ons kan gebruiken om dat te doen. So, dat is waar ons werk.
Lyndon, Eugene got his feet firmly planted on the ground. And he's not only talking about winning games, he's also talking about making sure that the team, the community, and everybody is being looked after.
Yeah, you can see there was testimony there in the background. You know, you can witness all those kids playing there. All those kids, you know, the step ladders are packed out. The cones are still there. They're still running around helping the coach pack up. So I mean, there's definitely a culture that all of them are creating, and I think it takes players like Eugene Mahinya to really say, guys, look. And I mean, I know personally there are a few clubs that approached Eugene that say, you know, but like he says, no, I'm at my home, keeping the kids out of the wrong places, and his feet is firmly on the ground. And it's guys like Eugene in communities like Solarians and Jermaine and Delane and all of them that keep the club sort of like going through that growing pains phase, and they'll get out on the other side where they'll be strong and they'll have their culture right.
Well, we've heard a lot about Delane Fortuin, chair lady at Solarians. Let's hear about her, what she has to say now in the flesh.
Luister, man, ons druk deur. Dit was 'n bietjie moeilik die afgelope jaar en 'n half. Natuurlik gesak van Superliga A af en B glad nie goed gegaan nie. Maar ons is baie positief van dit. Ons begin dit nou 2 weke terug met ons voorbereiding. Ons het begin met so 25 man en vanaand kyk ons hier na 44 spelers op die veld. So dit sê baie. En ek is excited en ons manne is excited, so ek dink hulle wil hierdie jaar wys wat in hulle steek. Ons probeer die spelers wat hier in die dorp is, ons probeer hulle soveel as moontlik betrek in die klub. Ons probeer dit vir hulle soveel as moontlik nice maak dat hulle weet dit is 'n familie. Geld, hier is nie geld om te bied nie. So ons probeer ander maniere doen, miskien 'n spitbraai, doen 'n gathering vir hulle wat hulle weet neem ons is die family. Die family kom baie groot uit vir Solarians. Ons dit is 'n klem wat ons op lê. Ons lê klem op die ontwikkeling van ons kinders. Ons probeer hulle weghou van die dwelms en die alkohol, want dit is 2 groot ewels in ons dorp. Ja, dit is meer gemeenskap. Ons het baie wynplase, boere rondom ons, rondom hierdie dorp wat net sien die kinders is besig, maar nog nie regtig betrokke raak nie. So dit is 'n uitnodiging van my as die voorsitter van Silurians om te vra dat julle wat lief is vir sport, wat wil sien die jong mense moet beter raak, dit moet die sport moet ontwikkel in die dorp en ons moet beklei teen hierdie ewels wat ons elke dag in die oë staar. Kom raak betrokke, kom help ons. Hier is soveel nodig, ons het soveel nodig wat ons infrastruktuur betref, wat ons spelers se ontwikkeling self betref, toerusting wat ons benodig by die klub. So ons het dit nodig.
Oh, well, one of the first things we've got to say is fantastic to have more women in sport, more women in leadership in sport, more administrators in sport. And she's talking about all the right things as well. Contributing, developing, social cohesion, ticking all the boxes.
Getting involved with the
A little
clubs.
bit like, for a moment there, I thought I was speaking to, is it Charmaine from St. George's?
No, Janine.
Janine from St. George's. Nolene from
Milnerton.
Milnerton, Jolene from St. George's, Charmaine from, at least Delane from Silurians. We're getting women leadership into the picture here.
Alice from Elsie's.
And of course at
Fatima from Hammy's.
Whistling Wheels, cheerleader as well.
Yes.
So we're getting women leadership into the club
Fatima
rugby space.
from-
Fatima's involved there, yes.
She makes great routines.
Great news. Folks, we're going to take an ad break before these two get absolutely nuts. When we come back from the break, I'll give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, and then we'll speak to the guys from Hands and Heart. Welcome back, everybody. I've got two clowns on the show with me. Lyndon Julius from, I was going to say from St. George's, but he's not from St. George's anymore. And Morgan Newman, former international superstar rugby player, played for the Springboks. He played for the Stormers. He played for Western Province. He played for the Cheetahs.
And the rest you don't talk about.
Well, there is that one team. You of course captained the emerging box against the British Irish Lions.
That one we can talk
I can talk about that one.
Yeah,
That's the one I can talk about. Anyway, let's talk about Hands and Hearts now. Roger Smith, of course, the coach there. Let's check out one of the training sessions.
Ons omtrent op 40 spelers, so dit maak 'n coach se job 'n bietjie makliker en ek meen as jy begin van die jaar so ons wag nog op 'n paar spelers, soos dit maar gewoonlik gaan, community clubs. Almal het gereël vir die gym en kan gym toe gaan en sterk maak in die gym. So ons moet maar 'n bietjie maniertjies vind om hulle spiere bietjie sterker te maak vir die seisoen wat voorlê. Dit is ek dink vir myself is dit baie groot voordeel. Ek as 'n een van die plekke wat ek altyd wil gecoach is by Insenaats. So dis weer geleentheid wat aan my gebied het en ek hoop het sal suksesvol wees. Ek hoop maar die beste van my spelers, my bestuur en dan ons coaching staff, ons sal alles doen. Ek dink ons moet dit goed opbreek as jy die fisiese part met die hardloop part gaan, dan sal ons ek dink is sal ons goed 'n goeie gebalanseerde span is. Ek meen jy wil altyd almal tevrede speel deur expensive rugby te speel en hardloop rugby te speel, maar basies is ook belangrik jy moet jou eerste fase ballies kan wen. So jy het 'n bietjie bulk nodig om eerste fase balle en dan kan ons af vanaf ons attacking rugby speel of soos hulle sê in St. Rugby.
Welcome back, everybody. Roger Smith there. Of course, well, everybody knows Roger. He's been on Cape Rugby TV show before. He works at Western Province. He's involved with the women's at SA Rugby, and now at Hands on Hearts. Formerly, of course, at Young Stars. Am I right? Young Stars, formerly coached.
Yeah, formerly coached Young Stars. Yeah. So then
Hands on Hearts, though, it's going to be different now.
It's a different.
It looks like there's a bit of a fresh breeze blowing at Hands on Hearts as well.
But it's always that. It's always that in the beginning of the year we've got like this new face, a new voice, a new sort of technique, and then it keeps on going. It's the moment when it starts that climb starts evening out. That is when you really see if the players have taken in what the coach has said. But I think Roger's a brilliant coach. He's a brilliant sevens coach. He knows how to work with players, get the best out of their players. I mean, he's been at Bella, he's been at Tigerberg, he's been at the Young Stars, he's been at the provincial level, he's been at the national level with the women's as well. So I think the development, Rogers.
Well, he's not going to be able to do it on his own. If he doesn't have a management team around him and an exco around him that's going to be able to.
And a club like Hands on Hearts, you want to have as many guys next to you to get the most out of your players.
One of the nice things about Hands on Hearts is that they've got a guaranteed community.
Yeah.
So if you can protect your community first, then the community will carry the exco.
Yeah.
And there's a few clubs that need to learn that.
Yeah.
But let's leave it at that. Folks, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, all right, this is the Burst apple flavored energy. I love this. High caffeine content and guarana and all that. Drink this, you're focused, everything that goes with it. Win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. All you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090, and you can win yourself a whole case of Score energy drinks. And congratulations then to last week's winner, Mike Pearlson. Mike Pearlson, or is it Anastasia van Rooy, walks away with, let's just get that, is it Mike or Anastasia? Mike Pearlson walks away with Mike. Congratulations. One of the guys from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you. Mike walks away with a case of Score energy drinks. Remember, folks, of course, you can win yourself that Hisense Infinity Pulse mobile phone. All you need to go do is go to the Cape Rugby TV app and go and do the Spot the Ball competition. Great fun there. Hands on Hearts was, of course, the club that we looked at. We spoke to Roger Smith. Let's speak to Angelo Gideon from Hands on Hearts as well.
Ja, soos kan sien is baie lekker oor die seisoen wat afgegaan het. Ons het sewes. Het was nog fiks gehou, maar seker players wat nog terug is, nuwe players, nuwe uitdagings, nuwe coach ook. So vir baie players is dit nie om men om te werk. Ons meestal ons het al 'n paar keer met hom gewerk al. So ja, kyk maar hoe die jaar gaan. Ja, soos coach ook gesê het, is 'n community club. Hier's baie spelers in die community wat nou hiertoe kom. So ja, nuwe gesigte, nuwe uitdagings vir die klub en nuwe talent. Ons nuwe goal nou vir 2018 is om 'n goeie seisoen deur te bring vir die nuwe coach en wat hy vir ons gee op oefeningveld en net te deliver. Soos die jaar voor het ons nou nie 'n baie goeie jaar gehad nie, maar ons sal seker die jaar deliver.
Ja, het gaan maar rof veral vir die manne wat in my ooit klas of halfs binne in die voorry speel saam met my. Gaan maar swaar, maar die goed is nodig om ons te help om goed te doen in die seisoen. Mense ken vir Hands on Hearts as 'n hardloopspan en vir ons man om buite hou het ons die pre-season nodig en mense het lank gewag vir dit. Ek doen my wel eie werkies in die vakansietyd, maar die regte besigheid begin eintlik vandag. Ek dink definitief iets anders. Ek sien sy ingesteldheid teenoor die oefening is heel wat iets anders wat ons aan gewoond is en dit is sommer van die standspoor af 'n nuwe dinamiek wat hy opstel hier by die klub. So ek sien uit na wat hy gaan doen en wat hy gaan bring na die klub. Ek het baie gehoor van hom. Ek ken hom nie persoonlik, maar ek sien uit daarna om met hom te werk en baie van die spelers is baie positief teenoor die nuwe afrigtingspan en ek ken so van hulle, so ek sien uit daarna om te werk met hulle die jaar. Ja, is altyd lekker om die nuwe manne te sien, maar mense kan nog nie nou al sê nie want baie van die manne toer maar 'n bietjie rond, oefen 'n bietjie daar, en besluit nog waar hulle gaan speel. Maar mense verseker dat 'n hele paar van die nuwe manne gaan bly. En dit is altyd lekker om te sien dat manne nog steeds by die klub wil aansluit en dat die klub nog steeds groeiend is en die naam van die klub nog steeds manne lei tot by die klub sonder dat daar enige ander voordele is.
All right, there we go. Welcome back. Morgan Newman wants to know constantly why can't he win the Hisense Infinity Pulse?
Has he downloaded the app yet?
Have you downloaded
I've downloaded the app. I've entered this competition 1,000 times, and just to let all the viewers out there know that when JP announces the winner and it's not my name, it's a mistake.
No. But isn't there something in the terms and conditions that says people that are working or that are affiliated to the show cannot win, they or their families or whatever? So I don't know.
Fair enough. This will be the last time I'm on the show.
But folks, seriously, for those of you that have not downloaded the Cape Rugby TV app, you might have checked out. So you got to download it soon because, especially with the fixtures coming out, you want to be able to find your fixtures, find the news, find the results. Download the Cape Rugby TV app. There's some great competitions and quizzes there. And we're just getting so many messages coming in at the moment on social media. Any truth that the fields around Cape Town? Question that just came in from Joe Soap. Any truth around Cape fields will be closed due to water crisis? Joe, unfortunately, we don't have an answer on that. We suspect the fields will not be closed. Many fields are finding different solutions to making it work. And then I've got a message here from Jeff Ayler. For many of you that might know Jeff from the world of, well, pretty much anything that's up in the air and put your life in danger. Jeff Ayler, former KFM, Good Hope FM TV presenter, radio presenter, sending us a message there. Hello, Jeff. If you're watching right now, nice to have you out there and appreciate your support. Right, folks, as I said earlier on, you can win yourself this Hisense Infinity phone. If you downloaded the Cape Rugby TV app, all you needed to do was go and spot the ball. Now, the spot the ball had 9 grids at least. You can see the picture here on the A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, and C3. Lyndon, Julie's quick one. Do you know which one it is? Would you like a guess?
I would say C3.
C3, Morgan Newman?
I'm going to say B1.
B1, and you would both be wrong because the answer
it's not there.
Is...
The ball is not there.
No, the ball is there. The answer is A2.
I knew that.
Yes, you knew that.
I knew it. I just can't win the phone.
You didn't want to give it away. You didn't want to give it away. So congratulations to this week's winner, Carleen Damons. Colleen walks away with a Hisense H7S Pure Shot Infinity mobile phone. Colleen, someone from Cape Rugby TV, is going to be in touch with you shortly. Right, folks, don't forget that, of course, Score and Bash is on board with Cape Rugby TV. If you haven't got yourself a... Oh, hang on, before we go, guys, I've got to just bring this up. We've been going around to many of the clubs to catch the teams in action, training sessions, and catching up with the captains and coaches. As you know, we covered 3 teams. Last night we were over at Strand United, filming the Strand United training session, is that right? And our vehicle broke down. And of course, who came to the rescue? The players. Typically, this is what happens in the world of sports. One of those fantastic times that sport really kind of shows you what the world of sport can do. Just big thanks to the guys from Strand United who waited with us, with Renzo Bortman, at the vehicle while we were waiting for the tow truck. And I think it was 24-hour roadside service, is that correct? A1 vehicle assistance. I think it's Yazid. Was it Yazid? So many guys that were helping there. A1 vehicle assistance, and the guys from Strand United who did not leave his side until he was safely in his vehicle. So hopefully that doesn't happen only in the Strand, but everywhere.
No, it happens everywhere. I think that's what club rugby does. I think if it had to be in any region where he was filming, I think the players would have waited with him. I think Strand is just an example of how strong the club community is, and I think that's big respect to Ridwan Hasim and his what they've been doing at Strand United. Yeah. So well done.
Yeah, no, I kind of, when I talk about this and how we kind of get kind of emotional, because it just shows you what we can do when we're not all thinking about winning
trophies
medals, and winning and how much money I'm going to get paid to play. Yeah. Everybody that was waiting with Renzo last night, not one of them was worrying about how much am I getting paid to play.
Yeah.
And this is what sport is about. It's about being able to create and contribute in that sense. And I'm going to keep lecturing you. Yes, JP's getting all soppy. I'm going to keep lecturing you on this constantly for forever and ever. Morgan Newman, what's up next for you?
No, nothing much, Japes. We so much rugby happening all across the globe at the moment that it's just rugby.
Am I allowed to say certain things on air about your personal life?
I don't think it's a secret anymore, Japes.
Well, in that case, I'd like to say congratulations.
Thank you
congratulations,
very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
We're expecting another little bald head soon.
No, unfortunately, it is a girl, Japes. So
it's going to be bald in the beginning.
Let's hope she's not bald.
She doesn't stay bald. She doesn't stay bald. She doesn't stay bald. Yeah.
No, she will not be playing rugby. There is no expectation for her to play rugby.
Women's rugby is picking up, eh? Women's rugby is picking up. I mean, I think there's...
I honestly don't mind what sport she does. guys, as long as it's full contact karate.
Yeah, the full contact
Says the one whose knee nearly got kicked off last night and he's limping around, but he's still wanting to go back for more, go back for more.
Yes. It's all coming out now.
Now, I've got a very big shotgun. And
about 15,000 rugby players ready to protect.
You just saw Saturday night protecting Renzo, and I mean Renzo is something that you don't really want to look at and say, oh, what a cute kind of guy, you know. But I mean, if it's a girl, you know, if someone a daughter of a club rugby player or a wife,
it's roadside assistance.
That's definitely something.
Which will work this time round.
Yeah. You must teach your staff to fix a tire. A little flat tire.
It wasn't a tire. It wasn't a tire though.
Before we go, we're about to, Lyndon, you guys also went out there and you're on the show next week.
Yeah.
You got 3 teams you guys spoke about. You went and joined Renzo, where you covered. Just give us a heads up, which of the 3 teams were?
We did St. George's, we did Strand Liga, so where Gershon Leitz and the guys are, and then we did All Saints.
So All Saints, St. George's, and Strand League.
Yeah.
And what can we expect to see?
The fields are pretty much, it's like that all around. You have 50, 45 guys on the field, coaches, everyone there. You got your executives on the field. You got some spectators going. I think the vibe is getting good. It's picking up. People are hungry for club rugby, and I think it's
so the viewers that are watching next week, they're going to be able to
get a glimpse into what is happening, exactly what the other 3 clubs or most other clubs are doing. And then we did Scottsdene and Scottsdene as well. There's still one more club the week after that. I think that's also another club, and then we will be doing a few more clubs as well over the next couple of days.
All right, a couple of comments coming in on the water saving tips, folks. We're going to ask you that question constantly. All right, if you get asked a question on Facebook, don't push the like button. Try and answer the question. I don't understand that, like, oh, I like your question. Answer the question. Morgan Newman, thanks for joining us on Cape Rugby TV.
Always good to be here, James. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you back. And Lyndon, I look forward to seeing what you guys did last week.
Yeah,
and
I think
seeing All Saints and St. George's and Strand League are doing.
It's exciting times to see what club rugby is picking up, and I think the guys are really looking forward to the season. Every year just gets better and gets better and gets better, and I think Cape Rugby has also broadened that platform for everyone, all the clubs. I mean, we've got our own TV show. No other league or union or sport in the world can say that. I think that's fantastic.
8 years of Cape Rugby TV. That's exactly 8 years. 8 years.
And 3 studios and 3 studios later.
Yeah, and you've been with us right from the beginning.
Yeah, I think so.
I think our opening sequence has been here for 8 years.
I want Renzo, please go. I want to know how many episodes JP has done. I really need to know this number.
But let's look at it.
For you. You've got to host a couple.
Let's look at it.
Shortly.
Let's look at it. It's 52 weeks in a year. There's about 4 episodes that doesn't happen. So it's about 48. Let's say 44 for the year. So it's 40 times. It's about 5,000 episodes.
Of which JP I think has missed 5.
Yeah.
495.
Which means that you've done 5.
Are we going to celebrate your 4,000th episode?
We have to. Do a proper thing.
Redo your math.
We must do a proper thing.
52 times 8.
No, it's 400, man.
4,000.
4,000 minutes.
They would put us in 80 years of.
Let's just say minutes.
You guys are so slow.
This is what happens when you reduce the average standard of school. You're right.
We come from the old school still. We still had to get 40%, 50% to pass.
Well, now you
not 29%. Not 29%.
Now
we still
need
needed
50%, which means that 90% of your work you don't need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So,
that's bad.
Right, if you matriculated in 2016, don't come here. Right,
I don't want to go. Let us know where your practice is. I don't want to come to you as a doctor either, because like 90% of the work you don't know.
All right, we got to go now. Right, folks, that's a wrap from Cape Rugby TV. I see Carla Norkia and a few others also posting here on Twitter. Fantastic stuff. Keep tweeting us and find us on Facebook, and we're looking forward to your water-saving tips. Please share. It's crisis, folks. You absolutely have to save every single drop. And if you see anybody out there wasting water, report them immediately. But yes, it's crisis time. We've got to find every solution. We look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend.